The New Balance 306 is my most worn favorite vulcanized shoe of all time, and we've cut it in half last year and found out that it's not only a personal favorite, but the numbers on the tests and the way it's built kind of backs it all up. But it's not without its flaws. I know the bottom of my shoe, specifically where my big toe pivots, will go through in about 3 weeks, and this is one of the biggest downsides of any vulcanized shoes. So vulcanized versus cup sole is an age-old debate in skating, and usually you pick one side and never cross over ever. I would go as far as saying if you are on one side, you probably can't skate on the other style. Generally, cup soles are much more durable than Vulcs. They hold their shape way better than Vulcs, but you'll get a lot less board feel and grip and control out of a cup sole than with a Vulc. I'm sure everyone's had a pair where the foxing delaminates or you've kicked through it surprisingly fast, but you just can't get that same board feel and grip with a cup, so it's kind of the trade-off you have to make. It almost doesn't matter how durably the upper is built if the outsole is what's failing you. So after years of this shoe being on the market and having all of my flaws that, kind of come with vulcanized shoes, New Balance has recently made a beefed up cup sole version of this shoe. I want to go through layer by layer and piece by piece to test to see what's the same, what is different, and what shoe should you actually get. So what are these shoes? We have the New Balance Numeric. The style is the Jamie Foy 306. It weighs 15 ounces, and the price just recently upped to $95 from $90. And the positioning from the website says Jamie Foy's first pro model for New Balance Numeric is an update on the traditional vulcanized skate shoe for a more reliable and comfortable ride. And for this one, we have the brand is New Balance Numeric. It's the 306C or 306 Cup. It weighs 15.8 ounces, so a little bit heavier. The price is also $95, which I think is why this one jumped up in price $5, so they're the same price. They're also made in Indonesia, and I don't have positioning from the website because the shoe hasn't released yet from New Balance's website. I'll put the links to both these shoes down in the description if you guys want to try out either. I really like the shoe, obviously. So we're gonna start with the uppers. So there's a lot of cool features on the 306 Vulc that I like. Namely, it had a really good suede upper. You get the gaps in these panels right here for breathability and flexibility, and you get the big extra layer of rubber under the suede. But most of all, what I really like about the shoe is that it's just a lining with the leather panels sewn on top of it. So that means it won't stretch as much, which suede really stretches since it has no grain to keep it all together. That's why almost all Vulc shoes get really broken in and they kind of feel soggy and too floppy. It's because the more you wear them, the more the suede and leather stretches. So this way, the shoe breaks in, but it still stays stiff enough because it's not just suede, it's the lining with the suede on top, which it's a really good idea, and it's how old running shoes used to be built, like those old Nike and like New Balance runners from the 90s. So what does the cup have? So you have pretty much the same panels. You maybe lose a little bit of breathability and instant flexibility because you don't have the same panels right there. Overall, it's a pretty similar shaped shoe. You do get this additional heel cup. It should add a little rigidity in the heel. You see this a lot with old New Balance running shoes. I think it's called like the in cap or something. It's supposed to lock your heel in like that. I think it might be more for show in this shoe, but it's always nice to have a little more heel stability, especially in low top shoes. It's one of those features you can't get in a vulcanized shoe because I think the oven would cook it and destroy it. But to see if it really is the same, and these panels that you can see right here, to see if they actually go all the way through similar to this shoe, I dissected the entire shoe apart. Is the extra rubber layer real? Yes. You can see that it goes right there, but it does stop under the end panel right there, which in this one, technically it doesn't stop. It keeps going. It's like a separate part, but it keeps going, and then it ends there. So where this one keeps going under the end, this one stops under the end, keeps going under the back, but it doesn't go all the way down to the cup sole in the back. It just stops right there, which is probably okay. If you're doing heel flips, you're probably doing it more up here, and this is probably protecting it more than anything. But you can see after dissecting it, it is the same kind of construction with, it's just the lining with the panels sewn on top. So that's good to see. It's a really good way to make a skate shoe. I'm surprised more people don't do it this way, actually. But if we go to the most important part, the leather specs. So on the Vulc, it had 1.8 millimeters thick suede, which has the thickest suede of any skate shoe we've got at half. And if you go to the cup sole, you can see the leather is 1.5 kind of to 1.6 millimeters all the way through. So it's still good for a skate shoe. Anything over 1.5 is what I want to see. Unfortunately, this leather heel panel right here is fake and it burns and melts, which I don't like. I don't like fake leather on any shoes. It's less egregious from the heel back because you want the more important real leather where you're ollie and kick flipping. But we're the leather guys. More leather, more better. But if we put it on the abrasion tests, which simulate real world wear, we take a sample of leather, we take a sample of mob grip, we put them in the machine runs the leather against the grip, it runs in a circle and spins, so kind of like a teacup ride. You can't hide from that machine. It'll really tell you if it's good leather or bad leather. So when we did it on this New Balance Vulc, it took a whopping 2,652 strokes for it to fail. So on the cup, it only takes 1,032 strokes. So it's over 1,000 at least, but barely. My standard is anything over 1,000 will be decent. So this is a good example to see that when a big corporation comes in You have to use a ton of leather, and you can't get the exact same standards because every cow is different, every hide is a little bit different. So sometimes you'll get thicker leather or thinner leather, but both of these are still good because you do get pretty decent leather and that extra layer as well. But if you ever want to extend the life of your shoe even more, the 306 is actually one of my big inspirations for my side project, Patchworks. So welcome to the Rose Anvil Employee Shop Corner. So I've skated the 306 so much, I know it takes exactly about 3 weeks for me to start kicking through the upper to the extra rubber layer if I'm skating every day. So to fix that problem, which happens to literally every single skate shoe, I made a pig suede patch kit. So you can lace it into your shoe, glue it down, and the pig suede takes about 3,000 strokes on the abrasion test to go through. So that easily doubles the life of pretty much any upper, triples the life of this upper. Then when you finally wear through it, you just peel it off, put another one on, rinse and repeat. Simple as that. Plus I made the patches big enough that you can cut your own patches out of them and kind of put wherever you want. So I like to put one on the side laced through to protect where I ollie, and then I like to cut a smaller one out, kind of near my toe where I flick and put it there, because those are the two main wear spots on any shoe. Shoe prices just keep going up, so I wanted to make something to extend the life of everyone's shoes. Plus, if you use code MAKEMELASTLONGER, you get 10% off, which I think is funny. So 5 patches, 1 tube of shoe goo, you should be good to go. Rinse and repeat, save your shoes. Even the best shoes, it's good to have more protection. You don't want any accidents, you know. So shout out to Rose Anvil for allowing me to start my company pretty much out of the shop here with all the machines. So if you move on to the linings, you can see that there's pretty much nothing in the shoe. You got a little bit of foam on the heel, a little bit of foam in the tongue, but on the cup, it's pretty much the same lining, but you get about double the amount of foam in the heel and collar. You can definitely feel it when you put it on. It's like, there's definitely more foam in there. So if we go to the insoles, the Volk has one of my favorite insoles. It's a super dense absorb foam midsole. In Volk shoes, the insole does all of the cushioning, all of the heavy lifting, and this one does a lot of heavy lifting for how thin it is. And it's about twice as thick in the heel as it is in the toe. And if we go to the cup, it has a brand new insole. It's a closed cell foam insole. It feels a little denser than their other open cell like Ortholite foams, but it doesn't feel quite as dense and as hard as the Absorb. But it is just a flat insole. It's not thicker at the heel or thinner at the toe. It's just one thickness all the way through. And if we take the durometers to see how hard they are, the Volt comes in about 30 to 32 shori, and the cup comes in about 20 to 22 shori. So this one's definitely softer and squishier than this one. But you can see under the insole in the Volk, you have nothing really. It just goes straight to the outsole. But under the insole on the cup, you get a pour-on foam lasting layer, which we see in a lot of their cup soles, like the 440. So that adds a little more squish and comfort. It's another thing you probably can't get in a vulcanized shoe because the foam would degrade and be destroyed in the oven. If we run our impact test, the Volk bounces up 11 inches and the cup bounces up 14 inches. So you get a little more response from this than the Volk. But if we go to the biggest differences, it's the vulcanized versus cup outsole. And this cup sole, it's gotta be a completely new outsole mold that mimics the effects of the Volk. You get the effect of the extra layer of foxing on the toe right here. You can see that. You even get the same textured surface that a lot of Volks have on the sidewalls. And on Volks, the edges of the bottom are usually pretty sharp and 90 degrees, but this cup sole looks like it's been made to be almost more of a flat and sharp squared off angle than a normal, more rounded cup sole. I know some people hate the sharpness of a brand new Volk outsole. My friend always rubs his edges on the ground and grip tape to like mellow them out. So it's kind of a cool effect on the cup sole to mimic the vulcanized shoe. But right away, the most noticeable difference to me is the shape. So the Volk is slightly shorter and rounder, and the cup is definitely longer and more of a square toe, similar to that 440 V2. These are both size 9.5. You can see that this one's a little bit longer. So I took a rough measurement. The Volk is about 11.5 inches, and the cup is about 12 inches. So they're both size 9.5, but this one's a half inch longer. And if we take the durometers of the outsole to see how hard they are, they both come in about 65 shori. So it's softer for a cup sole to mimic the softness of a vulcanized outsole. So you should get a similar amount of grip from the rubbers. Volks are typically a lot softer than cups, so kind of cool that they're the same. If we go to the stiffness test, which I see how many pounds it takes to bend it completely in half, the Volk comes in at 11 pounds, and the cup also comes in at 11 pounds. So they're pretty similar. And one cool thing about the cup sole that I didn't realize until the flex test is that it has these little notches in the outsole here, and you can see that when you bend it, it flexes with it. So that's why we're gonna make it just a hair more flexible than having a solid wall of outsole right there. And if we flip it over and do a heavier impact test with the bar drop test, the Volk bounces up 5 inches and the cup only bounces up 4 inches. So you get a little more response from the ball drop and a little more cushion from the cup as well. But probably to the most important test of them all is the on-foot feel test. So I wore these around for a few days. I can't quite skate all the way yet from my broken ankle, but I've been pushing back and forth to work, which is about a mile each way. And instantly, the cup is much bulkier and much more cushiony on foot. It's like you doubled the padding all around the foot. And it feels a lot more padded below the foot, like The Volk is definitely flatter, and the cup definitely has more under the heel for sure. But the cup definitely feels longer. And what's weird, it doesn't feel too much longer in the toes. It feels longer in the heel, like there's more sticking out on the heel to me. And after skating back and forth in them, the cup is definitely hotter than the Volk, and that's probably because there's more foam in it. So that's pretty much everything we can see from the outside. Let's cut it in half to see what they did to the outsole to make it feel like this. I'm kind of curious because a lot of cup soles that use the egg crate midsole style feel a lot more like Volks to me. I wonder if these have foam or if it's just a foam lasting layer in here. I'm really curious. I'm very excited for this if you can't tell. So let's cut it in half to see what's inside.
Do you hate Valentine's Day? Well, you're not alone. Literally everyone hates Valentine's Day, but it's over. It's in the past. Let it go. Forget about it. Whatever happened, just let it go. Make yourself feel a little bit better by getting one of our Dead Feb products. We discount the entire site 20% off. It's a dead time of year for all of our hearts and souls. So get yourself something nice for Valentine's Day and check it out below.
All right, so we got it cut in half. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your experience in all the shoes we cut in half too. The comment section is a really good resource for people because everyone, especially with skate shoes, everyone's feet are a little different. They like different things. But liking, commenting, and subscribing helps us when we're buying $300 to $500 worth of shoes, so you can see what you're spending your hard-earned money on. And there's some good ones coming up, so I'm excited for you. Let's see what's inside. So it could not be more different inside. Let's go over the Volk first. So you have the insole, then you have this little rubber and fabric lasting layer, and then it's just the outsole. Not very much in there. That's it. That's pretty much all vulcanized shoes right there. They all look pretty similar to that. If we go to the cup, you can see we have the insole, you have this foam pour-on lasting layer, you have the harder lasting board beneath it, you get the half foam wedge, and then you get the outsole. So you can't get foam lasting boards at midsoles in Volks because the oven that would cook it. So you literally cannot cushion a Volk more than just the insole because of science. So you can see it's pretty much identical to the 440, which people love that shoe, but the 440 has a slightly thicker outsole on it. But to make the 306 feel more like a Volk and less like a cup, I think they softened up the foam because we took the durometers of it. The 440 comes in about 40 Shore and the 306 comes in about 30 Shore. I'm once again impressed by New Balance, big shocker. They make pretty good shoes. But with all of that said, what shoe should you choose? And I have a lot of experience with this because I exclusively skated the 306 for like 5 straight years. And I would say if you only skate Volks, you still might hate this shoe. The cup, it might be a hard transition because you go from the board feel of this to the less board feel, kind of more blockiness of this one. It's definitely bigger, it's definitely bulkier, and you definitely have less board feel. But I think this specific cup sole is a good transition shoe into something more comfortable and protective, especially as you get older. My whole life, I only skated Volks until the last 4 years. I broke my ankle in 2021. I strained my calf and MCL in 2023. I pulled my hamstring in 2024, and then I severely broke my ankle this year. And so after all of these injuries, cup soles feel a ton better on my feet, but where they really stand out, especially shoes with this much cushion in them, it feels a lot better in my knees and my hips and even up into my lower back. So especially if you're wearing them for a while, like a whole day out skating, this is going to feel a lot better than this. And if you are a cup sole skater, these are going to feel pretty dang good. They'll handle some impact. They aren't too bulky. It's like you morph the 440 and the 306 together. But if you like more board feel and a softer shoe, you can't really compete with the feeling of an actual Volk. You can get close, but no cup is like a Volk in terms of board feel. And to be honest, I feel like the 306 Volk is maybe a little overpriced now. Like comparatively, these are the same price and you get a lot more shoe out of this one than this. I understand why they raised the price to match prices. Makes this one seem like a huge value, honestly. But I thought this one was maybe a little expensive at $90 and now it's $95, so take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, I liked it. I'd go out of my way to get this shoe even though it was more expensive than other Volks, so if you know what you like, there you go. I think New Balance should do like a bundle where you get both of the 306s. It's like, you get this one, and then when your legs start hurting, you can switch back to this one. Oh, you want a little more board feel, like more control, you go back to this one. Get the 2-for-1 306 Jamie Foy bundle. There you go, I'm giving you free marketing ideas. But after doing this video, I think I'm gonna do a whole cup sole versus vulcanized shoe. There's a ton of science that goes into how each feels and a huge spectrum of shoes from from what feels like the most Volk to the most Cup. So overall, my final thoughts is I do like the upgrades they made to this shoe, but if you're only a Volk skater, you're probably still not gonna like it. But I think you should try it out. Like if you skated the 306 a bunch and your feet hurt, try this one out because it's gonna feel as close to a Volk as you can get while still being cushiony and feel better on your foot. So that's it. Honestly, I think I'm gonna take a big New Balance break. We've cut pretty much every one of their shoes open and they're all built really well. I feel like we've seen the entire spectrum of New Balance. Let me know what other shoe companies we should do. I'm definitely working on that XL video. It's gonna be sick. I got some cool stuff coming up for that. Sign up for the skate testing pool if you want to potentially skate some upcoming shoes. So let me know. I got the first batch of those videos coming out soon. I'll always tag my surrogate skaters, so go sign up for that if you want to try and get in on the action yourself. Anyways, that's it for me. Peace.